Everything in my video can be found on a public domain in the full disclaimers down below. Hey, welcome back to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Lots of love and many blessings your way. And a special thank you to Nikki, Peter, and Jay. Thank y'all. You know, y'all, we talked in the last video about Meghan and Harry making huge threats for the second interview in the event that this racism within the royal family isn't addressed up to their standards ASAP. Even going as far as getting Gayle King, who the heck is she, involved? How's it okay for Gayle King to have permission from Meghan and Harry to talk about a personal phone call between he and his brother and his dad? Gayle knowing all the intricate details of this private conversation. How is this okay, calling it an unproductive call? Yet they're crying over somebody else leaking their personal letters, whatever, to the media, going after everybody left and right legally. This is all kinds of messed up. Now, if Oprah was just doing her job interviewing a couple of people that got caught up in some mess, if she was just doing her job, then why in the world would she feel the need to have this story in her magazine? She's certainly showing her role in this, in my opinion. And she's not the only one going after the royals with a vengeance. It just seems like Omid Scobie cannot help himself. I get that's what he's paid for. He wrote how William and Kate were visiting Newham Station in East London, where they were talking to the paramedics about their experience of working during the pandemic, but he ended it like this. They also learned about the mental health and well-being support provided to the staff at the station. And you and I both know that is an outright jab at the royal family. And another smart aleck comment he made the day before that. He said, I'm a bit confused, so just want to get this new royal protocol here straight. It's okay when info's leaked to the papers via a palace source, but not when Gayle King shares it on TV. Righty-ho then. He goes again towards the royal family, calling the place stifling, toxic, racist, then calling the palace out as being unempathetic about anybody that can't handle the pressure of their lifestyle. This isn't even the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg against the royal family. I guess what gets on my nerves about all of this, y'all, what really irks me is the fact that Charles is just so low down and depressed over the whole situation. What did he really expect the outcome of all of this to be? This is just my opinion, what I'm about to say. But just as his grandparents said, slow down, son, just take it easy, get to know each other before you leap in with both feet. Just reel it back a little bit. Stay in love, plan a marriage down the road, but get to know each other a little bit first. Harry being an absolute spoiled, rotten brat, saying to his granny, hey, if you don't allow this to happen when we want it to happen, I'll make sure everybody thinks you're a racist. Suck it up. It's gonna happen. So my buddy Jay was telling me, hey, this all started when he and Charles did have a falling out. And the falling out was not over security. The falling out was an increase in money. And Charles said no. So just as he strong-armed his grandparents into the whole wedding, he's done his dad this way, and it's all because Charles said no for the first time probably in his life. Back to what he said to his granny just totally proves that he's had help with this plan. He and Meghan knew they were going to do this all along. They just pulled the trigger a little too soon. His granny's come out saying, look, I still love them. I'm going to stand right there by Harry and Meghan. I'm sad. I'm not a bit angry. We're going to get this investigated and taken care of. I'm really hoping that's just kind of like for aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? All for looks. Let's get real. If she was to open her arms back up to Harry and Meghan, this is not going to fare well with the people. They're not going to be too happy. Look at all the problems this has caused. This entire interview. All that mess with Piers, and then Sharon Osbourne, she's like totally about to either quit or lose her job because she defended her friend Piers. There's a lot of problems that have been as a result of this interview. Not to mention their timing was so rough. Philip was in the hospital, and I've been told they've had to keep the bulk of this mess from him. And I never have hidden the fact that I don't believe a word out of their mouths. Not in the interview, or anywhere else for that matter. And Omid needs to go back and check some things out before he starts tweeting. When he said that she was under a lot of pressure and they lack empathy towards that, he doesn't know what he's talking about. She knew exactly what she was getting into. She was looking forward to it. In fact, she was going to hit the ground running. I think the most pressure she had in a day as a royal was probably deciding on what size diamond to upgrade to next. She sure wasn't under a lot of pressure when she was spending that money. Okay, so my rant's over. Let's get on with it. So things are about to get really strange. I'm going to share with you some things that my buddy Nikki and I started digging around in earlier today. So in the interview, Meghan said that news is created. It's not authentic, right? Keep that in mind. And she and Harry went on to say that they had to call the cops because some guy had trespassed on their property. And that, of course, is to show that, Daddy Charles is such a racist. He cut them off financially. They're having a hard time. In fact, some half-wit in California raised money, I think it was like $100, towards their mortgage because they're having such a hard time financially. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Let's get on with it. They told Oprah that back in December, they had to call the cops. There was this guy named Nicholas Brooks, and they spelled it with a K, like Saint Nick. Of course, it's Christmas, why not? Anyhow, had trespassed not once but twice on their property, had driven all the way from Ohio. Because they're always such laid-back people, the first time he trespassed, they just let him go with a warning. That should be red flag number 1. Are you kidding me? They wouldn't let that joker go off with a warning? Heck no. Now, the second time he trespassed 4 days later, they put their foot down and called the cops. And in the article, it reads that this man supposedly said, hey, I must have been high or something. I don't know how I got here. I don't know who they are. I don't know how I ended up on their property. But we're to believe he drove all the way from Ohio and not landed on their property one time, but twice, days apart? Give me a break. Of course, the article had in it a couple of mugshots from years ago. Here in the States, mugshots are super easy to find. For the most part, they're public record. And of course, in the article, it shows a picture of what he looks like now, which I just assume it's not much difference than what he would look like, back in December when he had violated their property not once but twice. It's a picture of a very large body guy, built like a bear, with tiny hands and a pin head, holding what else but Girl Scout cookies. Why not? This picture just looks totally made up. It's created. It doesn't look authentic. It looks so weird to me. My preference has always been big men. John Candy was my crush in high school. I've only ever been with big men, so I've never seen one built like this guy ever. The picture looks totally fake. I wanted to know more about this Nicholas Brooks, so I did a 10-eye search on his mugshots and his pictures just to see what came back. Nothing came back with any of these pictures. Nothing, which is absolutely almost unheard of. When it comes to searching files or pictures, 10-eye's about the best. And like I mentioned earlier, mugshots are super simple to find. So out of almost 47 billion pictures online, nothing matched these. This is where it gets so strange. Joseph Brooks wrote the song in 1977 called You Light Up My Life. Later on in life, he ended up getting busted for some creepy stuff, and as a result, he took his own life. But before he did all that, he had 2 children, Amanda Brooks and Nicholas Brooks. His kids lived off the trust. His daughter had a slight acting career at one point, but his son did nothing. He just loafed around living off daddy's money. And one of his favorite spots was the Soho House in New York. Everybody knows, it's no secret, Meghan loves the Soho House. It doesn't matter where it's at. She'll be there. They have such fun activities. It's family friendly. They have I'm joking. They have paper doll parties, which I find completely strange. The Soho House is so exclusive. Super private, members only. It's so hard to become a member that even an episode of Sex and the City was devoted to that entire topic. Due to it being so exclusive, members know each other for the most part. This Nicholas Brooks was a member. He loved it there, like I mentioned earlier, and so was his girlfriend. She was a swimsuit designer named Sylvie Cachet. Sylvie Cachet's girlfriend was such a member that she even had perks and extras that typical members, normal members, just didn't have. She was getting ready to dump Nicholas Brooks back in 2010, and they had stayed the night together in the Soho house, like a penthouse room. And the last time she was seen alive was checking in with old Nick there. Oh, by the way, Nicholas, his nickname was Nick, Nick. That night, they must have had a discussion. She was ready to leave him, like I said, and he ended up strangling her in the bathtub. Nicholas got busted for this murder, and he ended up going to court where his sister showed out, and I mean, it was just a mess. He ended up getting charged with murder in the second degree, but received a 25-year to life sentence. He's currently in the Sullivan prison in New York. His next parole date is 2035. And because he continues to collect royalties from his dad's music, the girl's family took him to court while in prison, wanting all of that to stop. They sued him for damages. The whole thing's strange. They've not received a dime. He still collects the royalties. And in the meantime, his sister decided she wanted a new life over in England. She's married now with a family of her own, and she lives in the Cotswolds. She was Harry and Meghan's neighbor for the longest time. I find it to be a little too coincidental, and I don't believe in coincidences. Meghan's the one that said news is created. That being said, was this Nicholas Brooks story of the security breach just another figment, another narrative they've come up with? They have to make the royal family look bad. They're racist. They cut them off financially, took their security from them. Now they're living in absolute fear and danger. Maybe that's the first name they felt comfortable enough to use, knowing that, what can he say? He's in prison. And these pictures out of 47 billion online, not one mugshot of him comes back, not one. I think the entire situation has been scripted from the jump. I really do. Yeah, their ratings have gone down. Nobody likes them anymore. Nobody liked them before. But that's not the point in all this. They meant to cause havoc, a division, and they've been quite successful at it so far. I would love to hear your thoughts. I really hope you're having a good day today. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Stay safe and be blessed.